Grand Rising, everybody. Natalie coming to life. Spirit and coffee. Got my coffee here. Yum. So good. Uh, what a. It's been a pretty emotional time for me, and I want to explain why. As you know, I get on here not as often, but when I feel called, I get on here. So I'm always going to keep this platform open. Leave it as a historical note, I don't know, or historical or our historical note of, how we can tap into something greater than ourselves and what that might mean. There's that concept that ignorance is bliss, right? Knowing something, once you know something, you really can't go back, um, unless something happens to the brain, of course, and all that. But regardless, once you know something, you can't go back. And this is why they say ignorance is bliss. However, inherently, we have a soul purpose. Every single individual uniquely has their soul purpose. And for some reason or another, our ego, whatever it was that ignited that initial, what we call sin, or where we sort of turned our face on our souls and sort of started doing some pretty crazy stuff as a species, where we ended up with this God complex in some way, somehow. And me trying to understand why, why have we forsaken the mother? What was the initial reason for us to turn our backs on the great mother, right? And I mean Gaia. Of course, there's the cosmic mother, and of course, it gets bigger and bigger. But Gaia herself, or Mother Earth, why has the human species forsaken Mother Earth? And I've been doing a lot of active imagination. If you don't know what that is, it's very, I would say be very careful using it at first. I wouldn't just jump into doing the imaginal stuff unless you're fully grounded here on the planet Earth, because what will happen is you can go crazy. Some people will lose their minds. It's a lot of energy, and this is kind of where people say, they get downloads and that kind of stuff. But we have a purpose here too, and so sometimes we forget that and we get kind of lost in the active imagination, or that world where we can pull information. Now, people have done this and misused it, and that's kind of, that's why we're in this weird space right now on planet Earth. And part of my doing that connection to the cosmic mother, who has been, reaching out to me, it's a lot of energy. And again, it's in the active imagination that we tap into this. Now, is the cosmic mother for me alone? No, it's for everyone. And in fact, everybody should be tapping into either Gaia Mother or Cosmic Mother right now, because I can't stress enough how we're in a very crazy situation right now. And part of what came to me during this active imagination and tapping into the Cosmic Mother is just how, I don't want to say how scary, but how sad. I think people are afraid of apocalyptic things. And the reality is that it's not fun. It's not fun for the Mother Earth. It's not fun for the Cosmic Mother to watch things devour and die. There's a great mourning that happens in the process. And we have a choice as a human race, as a human species. I can't stress this enough, and I don't think we're getting it. That we can choose. We can choose to stop forsaking the mother. For some reason, we have forsaken the mother. For some reason, we've turned our face on the mother. I don't know why. I mean, I'm trying to understand why. I mean, this is historical, right? This is something that's gone back. Hey, Roddy, it's gone back to who knows when, right? Ancient times, times that we no longer even remember. We can't even remember why we're so far removed from the mother, and I question that. What happened? Why? Why do we think it's okay, right? Why do we think it's okay to harm the mother? that gave us birth, right? That gave birth to all the creatures on the land. Yes, the earth does cleanse itself. However, what I'm talking about is the fact that the human species has turned their back on the mother. Why? Why have we done that? And what is the reason? Are we turning our backs on our own mothers? Are we upset with our mothers? What happened that something shifted in consciousness that just pulled us away from that? Because if we can't get to the root of that, we're never going to change. We have to dialogue with the mother, ask her to support us, ask her to nurture us, right? We see that there's not, like, even with ourselves as human beings, we don't nurture ourselves. We're not kind to ourselves. In fact, we have this dialogue that we're unworthy, we're not enough, we don't matter, and then we start to think about these big issues and think, who am I to support this? How can I do anything? How can I give my part? It becomes this big problem that we don't know, right? Mothers turned on children, children have turned on parents. Perhaps we could say that that could be the root issue, but do we know that? I mean, if you go back historically, when did it happen? Because this is an ancient story, right? We went from a matriarch mother society to patriarch father society to forsaking the mother completely, which, if we historically look at it, that's a possibility. But something happened. Why did mothers turn on their children? If we go back to the root, now I'm not saying we can get back to the root of it. Maybe we can if we sat in silence and meditated on it to really understand how this occurred, you know, what happened. So, was that initially what happened, or did something else happen that caused it, right? So I'm talking ancient times, way back when the beginning of it, right? Which I don't know if we'll ever have the answer to that, right? And yes, it's led to broken homes, and we see the result of it. Here's the deal though, in an active imagination, and I don't know if you've ever done any kind of active imagination stuff, which is dream work. It could be dream work. It could be hypnotherapy. It could be, you know, it could be a bunch of different things, right, that you do to tap into the active imagination. That we look at the cosmic mother being the one who gave birth to all galaxies and planets and all the suns and all the things, right? And we can look at it from systems like that where things die and things come back to life. But typically organically we see it happening, right? We see things die, right? Organically, right? That organically, things will come, things will go. Okay. And then what happens? Well, new things are created. And we can look at this from the system of the cosmos, right? The cosmic mother giving birth to all, that's in existence, and then watching as things die off organically and come back to life organically. But the human species is accelerating this process. We are accelerating the process, right? When it comes to the planet, the mother. So the great mother Gaia, who gives us life, who birthed children on the planet. And for some reason we've forsaken it, right? And even Roddy, sorry, I don't know your name, and I know you're not on here anymore, has gotten off. And the reason why is because everything is said in a patriarchal way. We don't honor the mother. History, well, where's hers? God, what God? The Father God? What about the Mother God? So we have forsaken this. We have forgotten. We have not honored that. And it's come out into our systems. His story it does repeat itself. His story does, but it's not his story. And it's not even her story. It's our story. And our story is leading us down a path of death. And something that, which is, don't get me wrong, we all have to die, but we're accelerating the process. And, I've been feeling all this energy, and, I'm going to share. And for those who listen and are here will, and maybe nobody will. But it is something that I have to leave behind because I feel a calling to do so. In the active imagination, doing in this class that I'm taking, it's the Council of All Beings, is what it's called. So you can look that up if you want. They do these rituals where, people will take on the creatures, the different creatures in the world. So, they become the bees, or they become, and then they do a council and they talk to the humans about how the humans, what they're doing and how they've had an impact on their own species. And I chose the Cosmic Mother because the Cosmic Mother's been talking to me, been calling to me. And the energy of the Cosmic Mother is beyond our understanding, right? It's too big, it's too vast, it's too much for our tiny little vessels. But in the active imagination, because I've done a lot of work in big energy, big archetypal patterning, whatever you choose to call it, I know my origin. I know where I come from. And my planet that I come from was devoured and killed and died. And it's not pretty and it's not fun. And it didn't happen organically. And that is the problem. It's when the planet itself can't organically go through a death and a rebirth, where a species comes in and accelerates the process. And it's sad because we have the choice. We as human beings have a choice. We don't have to, but for some reason we do. And I just can't understand the psyche behind it. Why? Why are we forsaking the mother? Why have we turned our face on the mother when the mother has given before she has taken? She has given us plants to eat. She's given us breath to breathe. She's given us the oceans. She's given us life. She's given us friends. I think Rhodey has a dog on there, and I know he's not on here anymore, but I think that's a dog, where you have friends with these species, where we co-create with them, but yet we think we have dominion. We have a God complex. We think we're almighty and all great, and we're not. We're interconnected. We come from stardust, the very stardust that gave birth to all the cosmos, and yet we can't understand this. And I can't understand why we don't understand this. I spent all morning crying because I have felt something big happening, right? Some big energy. My body's acting weird. I'm like, something's not right. I don't feel right. The Cosmic Mother's coming. It's too much energy. And I literally have been trying to avoid it, to be honest with you, because it's a lot. And for those of you who can tap into these bigger energies, it's a lot of energy. It's not, people think, oh, they want it and then they have it, and they don't understand that it's a lot of energy. It takes a lot from you. But then this morning, I'm talking to my mother, and I'm telling her, "Hey, this is what's going on with me." And then she's like, "Oh, did you hear about, the earthquake in Turkey?" And I told her, "No, I didn't." But it doesn't surprise me. But we have a choice, right? I don't think it's too far gone, because here's what I say: the mother's forgiving, the mother's loving, the mother nurtures. And if we can't get it together, there might be a time, and I think we're at that time, and I can't stress this enough. We're at the time that if we don't make amends with the great mother, if we don't start to love her and ask her for guidance, if we don't turn to her, she's going to have to make a choice, and the choice is us or her. Because if we keep doing what we're doing, it can lead to a planetary death, and guess what? That's not good. Or she has to devour us. So imagine that being your choice. What do you do? What do you do? How do you go? She wants to live too. She deserves to live. In fact, she's so ancient. She's been here before humans walked the earth. And somehow we think that we're so wonderful and great. And all we've done is cause hurt and conflict and pain and suffering. And, how can we be proud of that? How could we be proud of what we've done? I don't find any pride in the things that we've created at this point, because all we've done is taken all the resources from the mother, sucked it dry. She's given before she's actually taken from us. She gave to us. And somehow we've forgotten. How? Why? I don't know. I don't have the answers for that, to be honest with you. And it's ancient. And I know our minds want to go on what's happened more immediately, but this is an ancient issue. This happened ages ago when we've turned our back on the mother. Now we can blame the mother for that. We can say that it was the great mother who turned on us. And perhaps that's true, but I don't know. I wasn't there. Or if I was, I don't remember. But here's the deal. If that's the case, I can guarantee you that forgiveness is in order. And I can tell you that in order for us to get better, we have to mend relationships with our mothers, with our friends, our family, because we've forsaken each other. If we forsake the mother, we're going to forsake each other. And that's what we've done. And people, I know that this is very hard for people who believe in God as a man. God is not a man. That might be a hard pill to swallow. And people might say, oh, blasphemy, oh, whatever. That's fine. The cosmic mother gave birth to all that is. There was a burst. Or perhaps we can say it was both. I say cosmic mother because mothers give birth. They're the ones who hold creation in their womb, and they're the ones who give birth to that. And somehow that's been forgotten. Somehow that's been forsaken, and I don't know why. I can't understand why. But I can tell you that if we don't start to love and ask why, give us forgiveness. I forgive you. Even if mother turned on you, if that was the case, if our mother turned on us first, and that's why we have forsaken the mother, then we have to look at ourselves to heal. If we don't do this, I can tell you right now, there's going to be a choice, and I can't stress this enough. There's going to be a choice where the cosmic mother, the earth mother, will say, is it time to lay to rest this planet? Or is it time to lay to rest the human species? The choice is up to you. My origin story is I come from a planet called Chimera. Chimera, on this planet, we didn't have to eat. We were regenerated. And another species came in and devoured the planet completely. Now, people believe in soul reincarnate, whatever, souls being transformed into other, realms and whatnot. And where did I end up? Here. I've been through a planet death, and I can tell you it's not fun. It's the saddest thing. And actually, there is a movie you can watch that sort of alludes to what it's like to actually see a planet actually die and the feeling that comes from it. It's Ender's Game is what it's called. And that's what we're doing to our own planet that gave life to us. I mean, how sad is that? And of course, you want the whole world to hear this message. You feel like perhaps people will hear, and then, then no one shows up and you think, wow, I don't know what I can do. I don't know what my part is. I don't know how I can make a difference. Perhaps I never will. And that's fine. But at least I can say I tried and that I did my best, because that's my sole purpose, right? Just like everybody has their sole purpose, that's mine. And maybe I'll fail, and that's okay. But at least I try. At least I try to support in the way that I can. I just can't talk about the urgency enough, and I don't know. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it's too late for the human species. Maybe we're too far gone. I hold hope for the human race, but you know, maybe maybe that hope is not enough. And I can tell you there's going to be more earthquakes. There's going to be more earth happenings and more people that are going to exit this place. And I can tell you why, because we've done it to ourselves. It's not the earth. We are doing it to ourselves. And until we can take responsibility for that, then we will never heal it. So, what can you do? Talk to the Earth Mother, talk to the Cosmic Mother, ask her for guidance, ask her to talk to you, ask her to show you. I mean, I don't know what else to say. There's no one on here. People get on and off. Yeah, whatever. You know? I don't think people are understanding the urgency. I mean, I've been doing this for 4 years. I've seen it coming. A lot of people have seen it coming, and the people that do are trying their best to let other people know. And it's really hard because how do you support billions of people to transition their mindset? How do we start to heal? How do we start to It starts with you. You have to heal you first. And that's by understanding, why have you forsaken the mother? Why have you What happened? Do you have, and not just the earth mother, but the cosmic mother and your actual physical mother? I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I just know that, I have hope. I hold hope in my heart for the human species. And I just don't think that's enough. And what I have to say, I don't think it's enough to change, to support, I don't know. I guess I feel helpless in a lot of ways around this. And I think a lot of people are trying to get people's attention to wake up, and it's I don't know if it's I don't know if it's too far gone. I don't know. I can tell you that there's more to come, though. I can feel it internally. Um Earthquakes, I mean, and like he said, the earth cleanses itself, and it's true, but what does it cleanse itself of? It's going to cleanse itself of the human species, because we're the ones doing the most damage here. We're creating havoc that doesn't need to happen. We're intervening on natural systems. We're have a God complex that we are our creators, but we don't have dominion over everything. That was such a harmful thing to say, that we have dominion over all. We don't have dominion over this place, and the earth is showing us that. That's such an arrogant way to think about life. Everything is interconnected. We're all one. We're all interconnected. And what I do here is going to have an impact over there. As above, so below, as within, so without. We have the teachings, we have the sacred text, we have the all of the tools that we need, and yet we turn away from it. For what? For greed, for pride, for power, for control. Those are all false anyway, because at the end of the day, we won't win. Humans won't win. We're just a tiny speck in this big, big, big thing that's happening. We're just a tiny speck, but we put ourselves at the center of all. Such a God complex, and it's we're killing ourselves is basically what I'm trying to say. That's what we're doing. We're killing ourselves. And why do I cry? Because I believe that humans can be beautiful creatures. They can love, but we've been proving that that that's not the case over and over again. But I still hold hope. I hold hope. I think I'm optimistic, but it might be too late. So there you have it. A very somber, probably kind of somber podcast, but it's because I've been crying and working with this big energy, and I can feel it all, and it's a lot. It's just a lot of energy, and it's good and not good. It's good in the fact that change has to happen. It's not good in the fact that a lot of people are going to die. I hate to say it. That's just the reality of it, and it's already happened. There's the earthquake happened, and it doesn't surprise me, especially after doing all of this energy work and feeling the cosmic mother, pleading, trying to tell humans to wake up. No one showing up on here, or very few people showing up on here. It's like I alone can't make an impact, obviously. And some people don't even care to hear what I have to say. And so then what do you do? You know, do I go into the streets and tell people? Does that change their hearts? No. What changes their hearts is the ability for them to believe in themselves, their ability to work on themselves, their ability to understand why they've forsaken the mother, how they've played a role, forgive themselves for that, because we all play a role in it. And if you think that you don't, you're incorrect. The entire system was built on the forsaking of the mother. That's what it was built on. There is no honor in the mother, in the current systems that have been designed, especially here in Europe and here. Everything is about father, father, father. There's no mention of the mother. There's fathers. If we looked at it from a gender role, which it's not gender, because how can you say something about God? We don't know God gender, his, so, but we've called it his story. You know, there's no mention of her story in history, right? It's very one-sided. God as a man and depicted as a man. No mention of mother. Somehow God's a man and pooped us out. Apparently, that's not how natural law works. Of course, you need man and woman for birth, right? That duality. So we can say at the beginning it was the interconnection of man and woman. And I know earlier I said cosmic mother, but there's cosmic father too. But the mother gave birth to all of it. That's what mothers do. We give birth. And, that's natural. That's the natural order of things. That's not an order I created. That's not an order you created. That is the order that natural law created. Natural law created that, and you can look at it and see it in species everywhere. The mother gives birth. The mother holds the energy for life. And somehow we've totally missed the mark on this. And for some reason we're not getting it. We're not opening our eyes to it. It's like I don't know what else to say. It's what do you say, right? When because you're blasphemy, because it's so ingrained in our mind, right? It's so ingrained. We call God he, and that means we've forsaken a whole part of the story, which is the mother. And it shouldn't even be her story, it should be our story together in co-creation, not one or the other. But we've forsaken the fact that the great mother has given birth, that the cosmic mother gave rise to the planets, that Mother Earth gave rise to the creatures. Somehow that's been forgotten, amnesia, lost. And if you say it in these deep rooted religious sectors, you're blasphemous, right? There's something wrong with you. You're incorrect. But that's not natural law. That's man made law. That's man made order. And our tiny brains can't hold the whole entire picture. But it was designed specifically to create a narrative of control and power. And that narrative of control and power has been our damnation. We are doing it to ourselves. I can't stress that enough. What we see today is of our own doing. Now, the earth does go through its own processes, but what we have done is accelerated the process. It's like, for instance, your body. This is the best way to describe it. If you're ill and you're sick, and it happened organically, we should live into a ripe old age, and organically life and death comes, and we should be able to get to a point where we're old and we accept death because we've lived a fruitful life. That's not what happens, though. We accelerate the process. We and die prematurely. Okay. Now there are stories of people living forever for a long time, thousands of years, and that's a possibility because there wasn't as many toxins in the air, pollution, all that stuff. We've accelerated the process of our own death, and now we're accelerating the process of the death of Earth. And I don't know how we could be proud of that as a species. I don't know how anyone could be proud of that, myself included. That's not something to put a badge on. But we fly our flags and we act as though we're not interconnected, and we are. So we're accelerating our own death, and we're accelerating the death of Mother. And there's going to be a point, I'm telling you, where the earth is going to have to choose to devour us completely as a species or suffer the death of Earth altogether, meaning all species will die. And it'll become a dormant planet. It's not what people want to hear. They want to hear the, ooh, good, fuzzy, wuzzy things. Oh, you're scaring people. No, I'm not scaring. I'm giving you the raw truth because that's what's happening. And it's going to continue to happen until we make amends with the cosmic mother and Gaia and reconnect. So I highly encourage that you watch the movie The Ender's Game. If you don't watch the whole movie, at least watch the end of it, and you're going to see what it looks like when a planet dies. It's not fun. So why are we doing that? I don't know. That's not an answer I can answer. I don't understand. I don't know. And there's people out there that are never going to answer. So we have people who will continue to penetrate the earth, continue to extract its resources, continue to dig, 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 take, and not give back. In ancient times and still today in native cultures, they take what they need and they give back what they don't. They give an offering to the earth before they take from her. We don't do that. I don't do that. So something I could practice too, but how? Because we're in this system, right? This system has been designed that way specifically. And the people that have benefited from this are starting to freak out because they've realized that eventually we're not going to have any of it. that we've created our own suffering. We as a human species have created our own suffering. And for what? I don't even understand what. For, I don't know, power, control, whatever these people, I don't know what their minds are thinking. I mean, I don't think like that, so I don't know. I can only um assume that this is how they're thinking. My brain doesn't operate that way. So I don't, I'm not a power hungry person. I don't have to sit on top of an iron throne. Um, you know, I don't have to have all kinds of money and materialistic things and all this. I've enough to survive is good for me. You know, there are things that I benefit from that I can say that is privilege, like indoor plumbing and stuff like that would be very hard for me to get rid of. But the overconsumption is beyond. I mean, we're wasteful. It's just there's buildings that we've pillaged the earth and we've put up all these buildings and then nobody's even in them. Like, what are we doing? Like, I don't know how, like, I don't know if these people don't sit down and say, like, what are we doing? Like, I don't know if that crosses their mind. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's like, I want more. I need more. I need to have a mansion with 20 billion rooms and there's two people living in it. Like, what is that? I don't understand that. Oh, but because I can, because I worked hard for it. Yeah, but there's consequences that come with that. There's consequences, and the consequences, guess what? You're going to have to suffer those consequences too, because everything is interconnected. We're all one. Just because you think you're separate, you're not. And that all trickles down. Yeah, it's greed. Part of it is greed, Sandra. And the minds, it's like, how could they not sit there and think, this is crazy? What am I doing? Like, it doesn't even, like, it's not even they're not even opening their eyes to this until it's going to impact them as a species for death, because again, we're accelerating the process. I can probably tell you right now that there's going to be more earthquakes and stuff like that. I can feel it internally. And if you're tapped into it, there's, people that are clairvoyant. And I didn't even catch that it was an earthquake because I kept saying, I feel weird, something's not right. And usually I'm able to connect. There's been certain current events or events like tsunamis, I feel pretty much, but it's hard because it's not 100%, but our bodies can pick up on the vibrational frequency of the earth plane if we are connected. And for the past couple of weeks, I've been feeling really weird. And I'm like, something's wrong in my body. I don't feel right. I don't feel good. It wasn't sickness. I'm like, my body's not functioning the way it should be. And now I understand why. And it's because there's going to be some major shifts happening in the earth, not just in Turkey. We're going to see more of it. I can feel it internally. And I'm trying to get on here to tell people, like, get right with the mother, because that's who we're pissed at. That's humans, for some reason, are pissed at the mother. We don't want to accept the mother. We want everything to be patriarchal and father, 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 and it's not. It's both. And for whatever reason, we're pissed off at our mothers, or the mother, or the great mother, or that we've forsaken her, we've forgotten about her. It's time to build that relationship if we can. I don't think it's too late for humans, but it might be too late for humans. I don't know. I don't have those answers. I can tell you we have a choice, though. You have a choice to get right with the mother, and that's the cool thing, is that when you think about it, the mother loves her children no matter what. And so even if we've, taken and taken and taken, she still will give and give and give. But eventually, it's like a mother's breast milk, right? You can only give so much breast milk. Eventually, it's gone. It's done. There's no more. And the child grows up. But the earth eventually is not going to have enough resources to give. So she's either going to say, you know what, you're taking too much. I'm going to get rid of you so that I can let my other creatures live that I created from this beautiful planet. Or she's going to say, you know what, I'm just going to die. And that's it. Everything's gone. So that's kind of like, what do you do? I would hate to say that the human species is responsible for the death of a planet. That is like the responsibility put on our shoulders. And what we've done is like, whoa. And I don't know how anybody could be okay with that. I don't know. I don't know if they're just not making the connection that they're killing the planet off. Now, people will say, well, the planet can shake us off, but she has a choice too. She can choose to let us kill her. How do we know she's not tired? Right? She's a being. The planet Earth is a being. We don't know. We can't say how she feels. She has feelings too. I'm sure when we're, drilling in her and all that stuff, she feels it. Maybe she's sick. Maybe she's done. I don't know. I don't know. That's not for me to determine. But I will tell you this, there will be, there's warning. She's warning us, these earthquakes that happen, these tsunami. It's a warning. It's telling you like, hey, we're interconnected, dude. You can't just keep doing this to me. It's kind of like if you pick at somebody and then all of a sudden they charge at you. It's like the bulls, right? I'm a bull, I'm a Taurus, right? And that's how we are. We're very mellow, 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 mellow until you finally, it's the straw that broke the camel's back, and then we charge back. But we're like, okay, we're going to charge back, and then we calm down again. And it's a warning. This is a warning to us. I mean, all those people. Now imagine that happened all over the planet. Oh, come on. Okay. It's just one of those mornings. I have a lot of heavy energy on me because of it. So, but I will say this, it's not going to stop. Mm-mm. I can feel it. And so, I'm praying for those who are in the way of all of this that's going to happen, and pray for those individuals, the people that are, hurting, because right now the people that were lost were connected to people that love them and stuff like that. And so there's a great mourning happening right now, cosmically. If you thought about it, and I'll say this last thing, if you thought about the cosmic mother, and let's just say the great grandmother, right, of Mother Earth, right, looking down and watching this happen, a grandmother crying not only because she's mourning the death of all the people, but also because she's mourning the children who have forsaken the mother that has given them life. So allowing ourselves to see even bigger and sort of step outside of our own mind into some bigger ways of understanding it, at least gives us the empathy to understand, like, oh wow, but some people just don't do that, right? They're caught in there, then like, oh, the people, but what about the earth? And what about how the cosmic mother's viewing her own creation, and what humans are doing to her creation, and how that, the grandmother watching it's we could see it in our own lives too, that we're far removed from the mother. And so we see grandparents who are upset that their grandchildren are forsaking their own parents, and that those children were forsaking their parents, right? It's kind of the same thing if we looked at it that way. And then maybe we can get a deeper empathy for what's going on, and how we interact with this planet, and how we have turned our face, and how we might start to nurture ourselves and reconnect back into the earth. So I hope this is helpful. I don't like Sandra, thank you for hanging in there. I appreciate it. But you're one person out of all the human race. I think other people are maybe sharing their ideas and stuff like that, which is good. But I have to do my part. And even if it's one person that hears it or listens or whatnot, that's perfect. It was meant for you. It was meant specifically for you. Um, and hopefully, it in your heart, like I would say, Sandra, today, in your heart, just, think about your own. I don't know if you're a mother, but think about your own relationship with your mother and the cosmic mother and the earth mother, and how we give as women. We give before we take. We give our blood every month. We give our blood. That was a sacred ritual we used to have. We would give our blood back to the earth. And that's a ritual that's gone away. We're removed from that. We would give our blood back to the earth, you know, and oh, it makes me cry because we give, and then, like you said, it's greed, take, and no giving back, no honoring the mother, no, you know what I mean. We used to give our placentas to the earth, like that's how birth was done, and we are just so far removed from that. And there comes a time where we stop giving, women stop giving their blood to the earth, but think about blood too. So this is a big thing. Stardust, iron, comes from the death of a star, and I don't know if you guys know that. And that very iron that circulates our blood and gives us oxygen and life was the death of a star. And we, out of honor, naturally give our blood back to the earth. That's what we used to do. We were so interconnected and aware that the very iron that lives in our blood, we would give it back to the earth as an honor, as a blessing, and that we don't do anymore. So that right there, that connection has been totally severed and disconnected too. And then there comes a time when we mature and we no longer give our blood, and we keep the blood in us. So it's all interconnected. And I don't think people truly get that. They're not understanding that we're not separate, and the patriarchal model has done that. It has. It separated the mother. It took the mother out of the equation for I don't know why. I can't say why. I don't know what happened in ancient times that became a thought in the head of man, that it would be a good thing to get rid of the mother from the story, from the narrative. And if you see it, his story means that they took out her story and completely didn't honor it. And I don't know why, and I don't know what sickness fell upon the human race that caused that shift to happen. But it did. And it's caused our own damnation, our own suffering. So now it's how do we reintegrate it again? Not saying that the father goes away, but how do we include both and into our narrative? Okay. So there you have it. I'm going to continue doing this work with the Cosmic Mother. It's a lot, and I do appreciate you being here. And just I would say look at your relationship and work on that. But I can tell you right now, there's more to come. I can feel it. It's funny too because I'm bleeding more than normal menstrually, and I was like, what's going on? Why is this happening? And now I understand why, because the earth is changing. The earth is trying to give us warnings, and we've taken from her, and so now she has to take from us. I mean, if we're not giving back to her, she's gonna take, because it has to be that way. That's the balance, right? The give and the take. Okay, so there you have it. Sorry for the summer day. Please pray for those people in Turkey. pray for them, and pray for the people that are suffering from that, and that they call upon the mother for love and grace and nurturing and kindness and remembrance of the great mother, and that she come to nurture and that she come to support that suffering, because um, the nurturing and the love and the kindness and the gentleness that's needed right now is beyond our own understanding. And also, I'd say give it to yourself today as well. Give that love, kindness, nurturing, all of that to yourself as well. And in turn to your children. Okay. So there you have it. Love you guys. Have a great day. And I will be seeing you soon. Bye bye.